Hello again, everyone. This is Kristi Blubaugh, the Beech Brook social worker at Dodge Intermediate School and RB Chamberlain Middle School. I'm here to talk to you today about grounding techniques. Grounding techniques are a type of mindfulness activity that really help to ground us and focus us into the present moment. They use our five senses, especially, in order to do this. If you are a person who, when you become incredibly anxious or are experiencing heightened emotions and tend to dissociate or have that kind of out-of-body experience, these are really great skills for you to learn and practice in order to help with that. Again, grounding skills help to ground us and focus us in the present moment to help alleviate that stress that is caused by focusing on distressing memories or distressing moments that are plaguing us at the time. So there are a number of different grounding techniques, and as I said, they often pull on our five senses in order to accomplish their goal. So our five senses being our sight, our hearing, our sense of smell, taste, and touch are all going to be really important here. At the end of this, I'm going to teach you a technique that pulls all of those senses together to help ground us into the moment. But first, I'm going to talk about different things that we can do in terms of utilizing our five senses to help ground us into the present moment. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is touch. One of the things that's very common is grounding our body into the floor. So if you find a comfortable place to sit, a chair or couch or anything at home, somewhere that's comfortable for you where your feet can touch the ground. We're going to sit upright. If there's arms on the chair that you're sitting in, place your arms on the chair, and again, feet on the ground. And we're going to start by pressing our back into the chair, pressing down into the seat of the chair, and then finally pressing our feet into the ground. For me, it helps to imagine the energy from up in my head, all of those racing thoughts that may be going on, and letting them drain through the body all the way down to my feet and pressing my feet firmly into the ground. You want to spend at least 5 minutes doing this to really focus on what you feel putting pressure into those points of the chair that put pressure on your body, like on your back or underneath your bottom, the underneath side of your legs, and then on your feet. Okay, so if you notice any different things about how the chair feels, any uncomfortable parts of the chair, or comfortable parts that make it a good place to sit, how the floor feels underneath of your feet, how it feels to press onto that floor and be in the present moment in what is real. Okay, so that's the first one about how we can use touch. Other ways that we can use touch, if you have a favorite blanket or stuffed animal at home or something that you like to snuggle up with, that can also be very comforting and ground us into the present moment. Our pets are really great for this as well, doing that like calming behavior of petting, whether it be a cat or a dog, bunny, or other pet that you might have, can pull in that sense of touch for a grounding experience. Next, I'm going to talk about sound. So this could be different types of music, in particular things like classical music or nature sounds, things like that can be very calming and soothing to us. Hearing different, maybe if it's raining outside like it is today, listening to that rain fall can be very soothing and calming for us, so we can pay attention to what is happening around us in the moment. Other than that, any of your favorite music or hearing the voice of somebody that you love or care about can all be good ways to ground yourself with the sense of sound or hearing. Next is smell. This is where you're going to want to bring out your favorite candle or something else that might be scented that you like. Sometimes when we're baking too, that can release a pleasant aroma that can help to ground us in the moment. So if you have a favorite candle or room spray or something of a calming scent, that would be really great to use for grounding as well. A lot of people like the calming scent of lavender. There's lots of different candles and room sprays and things like that, essential oils that can bring in scents like lavender or lemon or mint, or something that might be pleasant and soothing for you. Next would be taste. One of the ways to ground with our sense of taste is by doing mindful eating exercises. So this would be taking some type of food or a candy, a mint, just something small, a little bit that you're going to really utilize your senses to eat. So thinking about what it feels like, what it sounds like as you open the packaging, if there's packaging, how it feels when you place it in your mouth, what is there a difference between how it smells and how it tastes? What is it like to let that food sit on your tongue and then take a bite, and all of that throughout the process of eating that food or candy or mint. That again helps bring us into the present moment and focus on what is really real right here and now, as opposed to what our distressing emotion is telling us is true in this moment. So that helps bring us out of those distressing moment and into the present. So lastly, I want to talk about the one activity that I encourage a lot of my students to use, and myself, I use it myself. I encourage family and friends to use it as well. And it is a very popular grounding technique called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Again, that's the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. And it's very simple. You can do it wherever you are. You could be at home, in a classroom, in the car, in the middle of a restaurant, wherever you might be, you can use this technique without anyone around you noticing, which is a great bonus. So the 5-4-3-2-1 technique takes you through those 5 senses and have you identify things that are in your present, in the space that you are in, that relates to those 5 senses right here, right now. So it has you identify 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Okay, so I'm going to say those again just in case you didn't catch it. So 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 that you can taste. So what I'm going to do for you now is to walk you through what this exercise might look like. So I'm going to use my living room that I'm sitting in right now to walk you through. So the first part again is 5 things that you can see. So 5 things that I can see sitting here right now are a television, a couch, a carpet, a coffee mug, and a window. So those are the 5 things that I can see currently right now. If you are in a space that you are in frequently, one of the things that you can do to really enhance the grounding experience, make it a little bit more challenging for your brain, is to try to identify 5 things that you haven't noticed about the room that you are in currently. Okay, so if I were to really look around and try to notice something that I hadn't noticed before, one thing that I might think about are the fact that I have recessed lights in my living room, and there are 4 of them. And if you had asked me that without looking at my ceiling, I wouldn't have been able to tell you how many lights were up there. That's not something I would typically pay attention to. Or maybe there is a scratch in the flooring on the floor that you haven't noticed, or something new that comes up, maybe a bird outside of your window or something of that nature would be great to identify here. So the next is 4 things that you can touch. So 4 things right now that I can touch is my shirt, which is very soft. So it's very nice and cozy. So I would say that's 1. The second is this blanket here that I have. Again, a nice soft fabric here that I could touch and describe in detail as well. So that's something you might want to think about while you're identifying those things that you are able to touch. Like my shirt, it's very soft and smooth. This blanket, because it is a little bit old and worn, has a bit of a texture to it, despite the fact that it's also soft. There's also knots on the blanket ties here, so I could think about how those knots feel and how they're a harder part of the blanket than the rest of it. Okay, so that's two things. The next is the carpet underneath of my feet, right? So I have a nice soft carpet underneath my feet, but if I kind of move my feet around, it might tickle a little bit, things like that. So I can kind of change how that feels underneath of my feet. And the fourth thing that I can touch is going to be this table that my phone is sitting on to take this video. So this table has a bit of rounded edges. It is very soft, but it has a lot of nicks in it that make it a little bit rough in different spots and changes the texture, which is a great thing to notice for the sense of touch. The next part are three things that I can hear. So one of the things that I can hear from outside are the cars driving by. So I can hear those cars whizzing by on the street now. The second thing that I can hear is my coffee pot, because before I started this, I started making some more coffee to fuel the rest of my day. So that's the second thing that I can hear. And then the third thing that I can hear as I'm making this video to you is the sound of my voice. So that would be three things that I can hear currently in this present moment. Some of the other things you might be able to hear, if maybe you're outside, you could hear the wind blowing. If you're in the classroom, other students or your teachers talking, or papers flipping back and forth. Maybe someone's tapping their pen or grinding their teeth or something like that would all be great things to observe for the sense of hearing. So the next one, two things I can smell. So as I mentioned before, one of the things I could hear was the coffee pot, so I can also smell that coffee being made. And the second thing that I can smell is almost like, to me, the smell of spring. It's a rainy day here today, and it is, as things are starting to bloom, that rain just kind of brings that spring smell, that spring almost thickness in the air. Today is another thing that I can smell. Lastly, the one of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is one thing that I can taste. And the last thing that I had to eat, even though I don't have anything right now, are fruit snacks. So I have kind of a fruity taste in my mouth from the fruit snacks. So that might be, maybe it's the last thing you ate, or if you had brushed your teeth, maybe it's a minty taste that you have in your mouth. Maybe you can almost taste like the dryness in your mouth if you haven't had anything recently, or if you're drinking a soft drink or water, coffee, tea, anything like that would be something that you could identify for the sense of taste. So that is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. As you can see, it's very simple to do. You can even make yourself a little note card to remember what goes with the 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep it somewhere that's close and that you can use it frequently. It's a really great skill, again, to help ground us in the present moment and pull us away from those distressing thoughts to really be focused on what is real and true in that moment. So thank you for listening again today. I hope you find these techniques helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or call. I hope you guys have a great day. And as I'm recording this on our last day of school, happy summer. Thank you.